The first episode opens with Joe Goldberg living a quiet, controlled life inside his New York bookstore, where books feel safer than people. His routine is predictable until Guinevere Beck walks in. The moment he notices her, the air subtly shifts. Beck's presence is effortless yet striking, her curiosity, her smile, the way she moves through the shelves without hesitation. Joe watches her closely, interpreting every gesture as meaningful. Their short conversation at the counter feels ordinary on the surface, but beneath it runs a quiet spark. Beck laughs easily, unaware that Joe has already started memorizing details about her life. Later that night, fate, or coincidence, pulls them closer. Joe follows Beck online, convincing himself that he's only trying to understand her better. When Beck stumbles near a subway platform, distracted and vulnerable, Joe intervenes just in time to save her. This moment becomes the emotional core of their connection. Beck is shaken, grateful, and deeply affected by Joe's calm presence. For her, he is a stranger who appeared when she needed help most. For Joe, this is proof that he belongs in her life. Their interaction afterward is tender and charged with unspoken emotion. They talk, laugh nervously, and share a sense of intimacy that feels unusually fast yet natural. There is no kiss yet, but the closeness between them feels just as powerful. Joe's gaze lingers longer than it should, while Beck's body language shows comfort and trust. She opens up slightly, revealing her uncertainty about life and relationships. Joe listens carefully, offering reassurance in a way that feels genuine, almost perfect. As the episode progresses, the romance remains subtle, built on glances and quiet moments rather than physical affection. The anticipation of a kiss hangs in the air, making their connection feel fragile and exciting. Joe internally frames their meeting as destiny, believing that Beck is special and worth protecting at any cost. Beck, meanwhile, feels she has met someone kind and different from the men she usually encounters. The episode ends with a sense of promise wrapped in unease. Love is beginning to bloom, but it is already tangled with secrecy. The absence of a kiss makes their bond feel unfinished, leaving the audience waiting for the moment when attraction finally crosses into something physical. Episode 1 sets the tone, romance that feels warm on the surface, yet quietly dangerous underneath. The second episode deepens the connection between Joe and Beck, moving their relationship from curiosity into something more emotionally and physically charged. After their initial encounters, they begin spending more time together, and the comfort between them grows quickly. Beck sees Joe as calm, attentive, and refreshingly different from the chaotic people in her life. Joe, on the other hand, becomes increasingly focused on fitting perfectly into Beck's world, shaping himself into exactly what she seems to need. Their conversations feel easy and natural. They walk together, talk about writing, relationships, and disappointment, and share small moments that slowly erase the distance between them. Beck laughs more around Joe, her guard lowering without her realizing it. Joe listens carefully, offering empathy and quiet support, which makes Beck feel understood. The emotional intimacy develops faster than expected, creating a strong undercurrent of attraction. The tension finally breaks during a quiet, intimate moment when they are alone together. The silence between them feels heavy, filled with things left unsaid. Joe looks at Beck with a softness that makes her pause, and she steps closer almost instinctively. Their first kiss happens gently, almost cautiously. At first, it's brief and unsure, as if both are testing the moment. Then it lingers, becoming warmer and more confident. The kiss feels sincere and meaningful, marking the shift from emotional closeness to romantic involvement. For Beck, the kiss represents hope. She believes she has found someone who truly cares, someone safe. She relaxes into the moment, smiling afterward with a mix of excitement and vulnerability. Joe, however, experiences the kiss differently. To him, it confirms that everything he has done to be near Beck is working. The affection fuels his belief that they are meant to be together, strengthening his sense of possession rather than simple love. After the kiss, their dynamic changes subtly. Physical closeness feels natural now, shared looks, casual touches, and quiet smiles replace the earlier hesitation. Beck begins to trust Joe more, letting him into her personal space and emotions. Joe presents himself as supportive and dependable, hiding his darker thoughts behind a calm, caring exterior. The episode ends with romance blooming, but unease remains beneath the surface. What appears to Beck as the start of a healthy relationship is, for Joe, the beginning of deeper obsession. The first kiss seals their bond, setting the stage for passion, attachment, and the dangerous imbalance that will continue to grow. The third episode takes Joe and Beck's relationship into a more intense and emotionally layered phase, where attraction is no longer new but deeply felt. After their first kiss, there is a noticeable shift between them. Their interactions feel closer, warmer, and more personal. Beck appears more relaxed around Joe, as if she has finally found someone who accepts her without judgment. Joe, meanwhile, becomes increasingly absorbed in her presence, watching every reaction and word with careful attention. They spend quiet time together, sharing personal thoughts and unspoken feelings. Beck opens up about her insecurities, her fear of failure, and the pressure she feels to become something more. Joe listens with patience and understanding, offering reassurance that feels genuine and comforting. His calm responses make Beck feel emotionally safe, strengthening her attachment. The emotional bond between them begins to feel just as powerful as the physical attraction. During an intimate moment, their closeness naturally turns physical again. This time, the kiss is deeper and more passionate than before. There is no hesitation now. Beck leans into Joe, and the kiss carries emotion, desire, and trust. It is not rushed, but slow and meaningful, as if both are trying to communicate feelings they cannot put into words. For Beck, the kiss is a sign that she is wanted and valued. For Joe, it becomes proof that he is becoming essential in her life. Afterward, Beck appears vulnerable yet content, resting in the quiet comfort of Joe's presence. She believes she is forming a real connection, one built on understanding and affection. Joe's internal thoughts, however, reveal a growing conflict. He convinces himself that his control and watchfulness are acts of love. The kiss strengthens his belief that everything he does is justified as long as it keeps Beck close. As the episode continues, their relationship feels more serious. Casual touches, meaningful looks, and emotional dependence become part of their dynamic. Beck begins to rely on Joe for reassurance, while Joe positions himself as her protector. The romance feels intense and consuming, blurring the line between love and obsession. The episode ends with a lingering sense of unease beneath the passion. What looks like deepening love from the outside is slowly turning into emotional entanglement. The kisses in this episode are filled with warmth and desire, but they also hint at imbalance. Episode 3 shows how quickly affection can evolve into dependence, setting the stage for consequences that neither of them fully understands. By the fourth episode, Joe and Beck's relationship has settled into a rhythm that feels intimate and familiar, yet heavier with expectation. The excitement of something new has shifted into emotional dependence, especially for Beck, who now sees Joe as a stable presence in her uncertain life. She spends more time with him, sharing her thoughts freely and leaning on his reassurance. Joe welcomes this closeness, interpreting her reliance as proof that he is becoming indispensable. Their physical connection reflects this change. Kisses no longer feel hesitant or exploratory, they are confident and emotionally charged. When they kiss now, it carries a sense of ownership and comfort, as if the relationship has quietly crossed an invisible line. Beck kisses Joe believing she has found someone who truly understands her. She feels safe enough to be vulnerable, to let her guard down completely. Joe, meanwhile, experiences these moments as confirmation that his place in her life is secure. The emotional weight of their relationship grows as Beck begins to reveal deeper fears, about her past, her ambitions, and her loneliness. Joe responds with patience and calm, positioning himself as the one person who will never abandon her. His words are gentle, carefully chosen to strengthen her trust. Their kisses often follow these conversations, acting as reassurance rather than passion alone. Each kiss feels like a promise to Beck, while to Joe it feels like reinforcement of control. At the same time, subtle cracks begin to show.